great down here in Tennessee. We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves. We told y'all.
And Titans Tube is canceled. right off the bat. Okay. No. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is Titans Therapy Tube. We are your therapists. Justin here, Jake there. We're gonna, have you been hurt, in the past by a football team named the Titans? Are they hurting you emotionally? And how do we overcome? How do we move on? And, really reflect and better ourselves through these experiences. And why did we choose the Titans? Did we have to be football fans of this particular team, Jake? I feel like the Titans chose me. I mean, I didn't have a choice. I was a kid. They came into town and the games were a lot of fun to go to. And I was hooked. Little did I know that was a curse that would follow me for the next 20 plus years. So anyway, preamble over. Titans open up the season with a week 1 loss to the Saints, 16-15. Jake, you said it right before we came on, but Titans football is absolutely back. It is the most Titans football game of all time, and we see it every single year, almost on a week-to-week basis. I'll just open up the floor to you, Jake. Man, there's a lot of different things we can get into here, but how are you feeling, man?
One might think, yes, I have been hurt in the past, and we need to have like a disclaimer, like the law firm commercials, like injured in an accident, like emotionally unstable because of the Titans, call this number. But you know what? I wouldn't call that number quite yet, Justin.
Okay, please.
You're not going to get an overreaction from me to week 1. I said it in our preview, and I'm going to say it now. I'm not going to overreact to this game. Was that one of the more putrid offensive performances we've seen from this team, who has put together about 20 games in a row of putrid offensive performances? Yes, absolutely. That was awful. They were allergic to the end zone, Justin. When they got into the red zone, which was many a time, they couldn't punch that thing in the end zone and convert on these possessions. It started on the opening kickoff. Amani Hooker makes an unbelievable play to start the season. Flip the side, Titans come out on offense, steal a possession, and what did they do with it? They went backwards 8 yards and kicked a Nick Folk field goal. I guess that's a good place to start, Justin, because I'm going to bring a little positivity here. I'm not throwing away the season. I'm not throwing away Ryan Tannehill, but we will start with the MVP of the game, Nick Folk, and I've texted you this during the game. How cruelly and ironic is it? It's just NFL poetry, Justin, and it's oh, well, the Titans may have lost and our offense looks terrible, but at least we found a kicker. You trade in one problem for another, and when you solve that problem, you get another one. So that's just life of being a football fan, Justin. And at this point, like you said, you're 20 plus years in. I mean, I'm getting up to that number myself as being a Titans fan, and every summer, that's why the NFL offseason is so long, Justin. It gives fans time to forget about how much they hate their teams. And, it makes you think like, wow, DeAndre Hopkins, Tim Kelly, new look offense. Maybe they get some things going this year. Now, again, it is week 1. I'm not flushing this offense, but not a very inspiring performance week 1, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we can start with the biggest negative in the game, and it's such an unfortunate player to have this type of game. But we've seen this before, Jake. Our quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, dude. I was getting flashbacks to the Bengals playoff game 2 years ago when he threw 3 interceptions. They were horrible, just terrible interceptions. And we saw 3 more interceptions similarly in this game, Jake. In a game that was very low scoring, very much defense defenses led the way for both teams. You needed whoever was able to score a touchdown was going to win the game, and the Saints ended up doing that in the second half, and that was the difference, is they could put the ball in the end zone. And Ryan Tannehill, man, every time the Titans, were able to build some momentum and start to take the ball down the field, I think it was the second one, he just lobs up a Hail Mary to Chris Moore, who's double covered, and the ball gets batted back to the other defender, pick. Momentum immediately crushed. And I feel like we took the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands at unusual times as well. What was a one-score game throughout the entire football game. Derrick Henry only had 15 carries throughout, and we can get to that later. But man, what a disappointing thing for Tannehill. I mean, this is our last season with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. You brought in DeAndre Hopkins. You have Treylon Burks coming back healthy. Chig Okonkwo looks like a promising young tight end. Tajay Spears looks like a promising rookie out of the backfield, trying to surround him with some weapons, building back this O-line. And he goes out and plays like this, man. And I don't think you can blame the offense, the play calling, or even the protection in some instances. I mean, they're not forcing him to make some of these throws that are killing these drives when points were coming at a premium. So I don't know. We've seen this before from Ryan Tannehill, just head-scratching interceptions, and you almost forgot about it, over the course of last season because we had so many injuries. Ryan Tannehill was the constant for a little bit up until he did end up getting hurt, Malik Willis stepping in. But you felt like as long as he was in the lineup, the defense was going to do their thing, and he would do enough to give you a chance to win at the end of the game. But the defense did their thing, and they gave us chance after chance after chance, and we kept giving the ball away. And not only that, the last thing about Tannehill, when he wasn't throwing interceptions, I mean, Tim Kelly dialed up a trick play. However you feel about that is whatever, but the play was there. The play was there. Chig Okonkwo running free down the sideline. Ryan Tannehill overshoots him. Could have been a game-changing moment for the Titans. And he also, I remember, he had other misses too, but he missed Spears late on the near sideline.
Spears was twice as open as Chig Okonkwo was, and Chig Okonkwo was wide open. I mean, there was nobody within 15 yards of Tajay Spears, and Tannehill flat out missed him, Justin. Those hurt me more than the interceptions, I think, because we've seen Tannehill be a good quarterback for this team many a time over. I mean, he's got an unbelievable winning record to this team. He's brought winning football to Tennessee. I pulled up the Paul Kuharsky tweet right here.
Yeah.
If you go by passer rating, Justin, this wasn't just Ryan Tannehill's worst game as a Titan. It was the worst game of his entire career.
Ooh, so, I did not see that.
Let's revisit some past Ryan Tannehill performances as a Titan, just for fun, okay? So, you throw out, man, this is the worst game we've ever seen Tannehill play in Tennessee. What else comes to mind? Okay, the Bengals home playoff loss. Great. So Ryan Tannehill's passer rating yesterday in New Orleans was 28.8. Woof.
He should have just done incomplete passes the whole time. He would have had a better.
Exactly. The Bengals quarterback rating he had was 66.7, almost three times as better of a quarterback rating in that Bengals playoff game.
He threw a touchdown. He threw one touchdown in that game.
He threw a redeeming touchdown to A.J. Brown in that game. There was nothing redeeming about Ryan Tannehill yesterday. It was all bad. And then, we're thinking about early season struggles with Ryan Tannehill in this Titans offense. You think back to last season, the Buffalo Bills Monday night debacle where they lost 41-7. Right. Ryan Tannehill was benched very early on. He had a higher quarterback rating in that game than he did yesterday. And it was so ugly, Justin. And you mentioned, I mean, the 3 picks, there were several throws after the 3 interceptions that were through Saints defenders' hands and dropped. And there was one play where DeAndre Hopkins turned into a defensive back and played defense, knocked it out of a defender's hand. It was unbelievable, Justin. Yeah. I'm a Tannehill defender. I think he's done really, really good things for the Titans, but there was nothing at all to defend about Ryan Tannehill's performance yesterday.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. That's insane to put that into perspective, that this is statistically the worst game of his entire career. Is
Hmm.
even going back to Miami, like
Yep.
that is unbelievable. That's something that nobody could have expected. I don't know. Was there rust? Should there be rust for like a 12-year veteran quarterback?
I'm
Should he
not
have been
buying
throwing some
Rust.
passes in the preseason? Like we saw Aaron Rodgers play in the preseason, and Vrabel. I don't think he's ever played Ryan Tannehill in the preseason unless he's given a handoff or whatever in the backfield. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but this version of Tannehill has popped up every now and then, and we just happen to get the worst of that version here in week one. And my God, I mean, hopefully this could be a wake up call. But I mean, dude, he is who he is at this point. I mean, this is going to be his
Absolutely.
last year, and he's maybe 12 years in, and this is just our quarterback, and we're kind of stuck with him for the rest of the season. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to bench him or maybe trade him before the trade deadline if he doesn't improve his
No.
play? Like,
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. One of my buddies, Ryan, was texting throughout the game, or I think after the game, and he was saying, man, those like I don't know, kind of going back to the draft, and like you have a second round pick in Levis and then a third round pick in Malik Willis, just taking up two roster spots and not contributing to this football team on the sideline. And that's just kind of an interesting thing. I mean, are they going to be our future? Maybe, but I don't know. You could have used those draft picks and gone somewhere else with that, and then looked for your quarterback of the future the next season or something like that. I don't know. But every time they have a shot of Will Levis and Will Levis, Malik Willis on the sideline, it's just like there's some high end value right there that's just completely getting wasted for this season. They can't contribute anything this year, and I don't think they're ready to play at this point. Malik Willis did look a little bit improved, through the preseason. But anyway, I think this is way too early to be talking about. Let's go in that direction right now. I mean,
Absolutely.
the season is very young. I'm the one who's overreacting, Jake. I'm the one who is overreacting to this week one loss, and you've got to talk me off the ledge. It's
Absolutely.
1 week. It's week one. We lost by 1 point on the road, and I'm just ready to burn it all down, apparently. No, that's not the way to go. We got to calm down. There's a lot of new faces on this team. God, I don't know. Do we have anything more to say on Tannehill? But yeah, he's got to be able to get it together like immediately, because we got the Chargers next week. I mean, we got to score 30 if it's even possible to be in that game, because they had a shootout against Miami. But yeah, dude, he's got to. I don't know. He's just stop turning the ball over. If we don't turn the ball over at all, we win that game. Turnover. You said it in your key until last week. Shout out to you. Your key last week was it's the same thing, but we can't afford any turnovers from the offense. It's just too much to overcome. Do you want to move on? Let's see. There's a few things of why the Titans lost. We talked about Tannehill missing Chigakonko, Tajay Spears added on to the 3 interceptions. Man, do we want to talk about the first half incomplete pass, fumble?
I would love to, Justin.
The second regular season game in a row, the Titans found themselves in this fluky situation, and we come out on the wrong end both times. And it looked like the exact same play. In fact, I think it was more obvious that Derek Carr's pass was a fumble more than Joshua Dobbs's was in week 18 of last year. And yet still the Titans, that's just the nature of being a Titans fan, man. We come out on the wrong end of these calls, it seems like, all the time. So yeah, complete point swing. KB might have taken that fumble to the house if there was no whistle blown. So like a 10-point swing possibly, because they ended up getting a field goal at the end of that drive, which could have been huge. That could have been the difference in the game. So again, man, with this ruling and this fluky crap, we can't get a win anywhere here.
I am not one to blame the officials in any sort of aspect. I mean, when your starting quarterback plays the way that Tannehill did yesterday, you're not going to win. You might win 1 out of 100 football games, but Justin, the Titans should have been that 1 out of 100 yesterday, because not only, you said it was a 10-point swing. Not only did they negate the Kevin Byard return, which would have been a touchdown by all, stretch of the imagination. I mean, he was clear down that sideline and he had a convoy. And so, okay. That's fine. It's frustrating. They blew the play dead. What can they do about it? Okay, it's going to go to review. Good challenge by Vrabel to go to review here. okay, at least we're gonna get the field goal off the board, right, Justin? That's
Hmm.
what I was thinking here. At the very least, this is 3 points taken away from the Saints, if not more. So I cannot believe in 2023, today's age and era, and calling the people in New York at the NFL offices. What are they doing there, Justin?
Yeah.
If this play isn't overturned to at least into a fumble and say, hey, sorry about the return, nothing we can do about that, but we can give you clear recovery of what is an obvious fumble in
Yeah.
this situation. I mean, you saw it, I feel like, in a few instances across the league since the Josh Dobbs play, going back to the playoffs of last year, going to even week one in other games. That was a fumble in every other instance of that sort of play where the quarterback's arm is coming forward and it's a loose ball pushed forward. That's
Hmm.
been a fumble. Again, I'll use the 99 times out of 100, but the Titans were the one yesterday where it is an incomplete pass, even after a review. That's
Yeah.
that is brutal, and it frankly cost the Titans the game. I mean, even if they get the fumble call, that's 3 points off the board for the Saints in a 1 point football game. Justin,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
the Titans deserve to win yesterday? No, but honestly, they should have,
Yeah.
and
It's
that
hard
is
not to
why.
talk about these things, like these little
Absolutely.
instances. Yeah.
Especially on splash play like that when our offense can't do anything and our defense pretty much gets a score on a given play, but it's ruled dead, ruled not a fumble even after review. Absolutely brutal. I mean, what a punch to the stomach.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, hopefully Vrabel is going to be like in the ear of the league offices, because he has been on the wrong end of these calls in consecutive games now. And I did see a quick uh, him like answering a question. It was like a quick 15-second thing of, I forgot who asked the question about that play, and he was like, yeah, he didn't seem happy. He was like, yeah, this week it was an incomplete pass. Next week it'll happen and it'll be a fumble. The week after that it'll be an incomplete pass. And he was basically just like, "What? I don't know. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is." I think he was being a little politically correct, but I bet that's got him stewing a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's got all of us doing so. Yeah.
Man, oh man. And I guess the last big pillar of this Titans Saints opener, Justin, is, you said it, you alluded to it earlier. Derrick Henry, about 15 carries. He was actually out snapped in this game, Justin. Tajay Spears had more snaps than the King, Derrick Henry, did in this week one matchup. A couple questions. What does that say to you for Derrick Henry's usage for the rest of the year? And then also, I mean, he might as well have gone in the locker room and changed into street clothes in the second half, because he had over 100 total yards in that first half. Great screenplay, great design to get him out in the open. He was running hard, put another stiff arm on tape. That's great and all. But I mean, what are they going to do with him down the line if Tajay Spears is out snapping Derrick Henry? Like you said, in a one possession game, Justin,
Yeah.
it's not as if the Titans are getting blown out and they need to come back and they're throwing the football all the time. No, that's not the case.
Yeah, you can
And
still run your offense. You don't have
absolutely,
to change anything. Yeah.
absolutely. And it's worried me, and it's kind of stuck in my craw over the past, going even back to 2020 where Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards. And, in the past 3 seasons of the Derrick Henry Titans experience, it's disheartening, Justin, to be playing from behind, or it's a crucial third down and your best player is consistently not on the field. And whenever there's an important offensive down, Ryan Tannehill's in the shotgun, Derrick Henry is nowhere to be found, and that's the curse of having a power running back be your best offensive player.
Hmm. Yeah. Then he changes looks uh, in the defense just by being on the field, even if you're not going to give him the ball. The interesting thing too, Tajay outsnapped Henry. But we only gave Tajay Spears the ball 4 times. He had 3 rushes, 27 yards, nice clip there,
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 reception for 1 yard. He had 4 targets, so yeah, and he had the missed ball from Tannehill late in the game, so it could have been more. But are we saving Henry? Do we not want to use him in there if it's a passing play, just a block? We want to keep him fresh, but we never ended up, like using him really down the stretch at all. So I feel like that was some Todd Downey crap. Like I feel like I don't know. We're going back to that now. But yeah, a little bit questionable here with Derrick Henry's usage. Yeah, 15 carries in a 1-point game, a 1-possession game throughout the course of the game. While Tanny is out here throwing pick after pick and missing balls, like you could have helped Ryan Tannehill by just focusing on the run game. Tannehill is off. Let's just admit that. Vrabel and Tim Kelly, he's having an off game. He's a little rattled. The Saints defense has gotten in his head a little bit. I mean, dude, and by the way, how about Cameron Jordan, dude, like batting down passes? He was a fly swatter out there. Like, dude, that was driving me crazy because I thought there were some plays there that could have been completions, and he knocked the passes down. That's one of the most frustrating things as a fan watching your offense and having a lucky hand go up and batting the ball down. Anyway, so it wasn't clicking for Tannehill. So just let's go back to our bread and butter and Derrick Henry. And it wasn't like he was running poorly. He was averaging 4.2 yards a carry. He had 63 yards. And he looks good. I mean, he's entering his 8th season. He looked like he's got juice. He definitely has some juice still. He was breaking away on that screen pass on his long reception. So he's looking good. Give the man the ball, especially when your quarterback is struggling. And the Titans, man, yeah, I don't know what the plan was down the stretch. Real quick too, I want to get your thoughts though. Also, the game could have been salvaged. Still, at the end of the game, 2 minutes to go, Titans did find themselves in the red zone yet again. So the situation was a 4th and 6, but the ball's at the 11-yard line, and you're down 4 points. I was a little surprised that Vrabel didn't go for it. He's usually kind of aggressive in that sense and has a feel for the game, and the offense is moving the ball. You do like, your defense being there to make those stops, which ultimately they didn't, and the Saints were able to run out the clock. But it's like, again, if you don't trust your offense to put the ball in the end zone on that play, but you're going to trust them with their struggles to go 50-plus yards for a game-winning field goal in a 1-minute drive, that seems kind of counterintuitive there a little bit. I mean, you're there in this situation, take your shot, because you might not get back there again given how the offense is playing. And that's if the defense also gets 3 stops in a row, which they didn't. So that's how I feel about it. So
I couldn't agree with you more, Justin. It's completely an oxymoron to not go for that 4th and 6. I thought it was less controversial in the moment. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but
true.
But absolutely, you outline the thinking after the fact. You are asking your defense again to bail you out in these games. I mean, at what point does the defense turn on the offense in the Titans locker room? I mean, I alluded to it, but it was all of last season. And I mean, with any grace, I mean, it'll continue happening this season if week 1 is any inclination. How many times are you going to ask this defense to bail out this flailing, non-sparked Titans offense? You're absolutely right, Justin. You have to go for that 4th and 6 because you nailed it right on the head. If you don't trust them to put the ball in the end zone right there when they're 11 yards away, how in the hell are they going to go get into field goal range, barring the complete miracle that your defense bails you out again? You said it perfect.
Yeah. So silver lining, the defense will keep us in games, it would appear, given that they can stay healthy. It was nice seeing Landry out there. I don't know if he recorded a sack, but we had 4 recorded sacks. We had, 2 takeaways, one of them being on special teams. I'm seeing New Orleans punting. We forced 5 punts, which is pretty good throughout the game. And, only giving up 16 points ultimately. Overcoming your offense turning the ball over 3 times themselves. So the defense looks as advertised, should have been another. They should have scored a touchdown, that got taken off the board from the officials. So defense looking good, only giving up 69 rushing yards. We knew this rush defense was great last year. Looks like we're going to get some of the same this year, even though they're missing, Alvin Kamara. But gave up 69 rushing yards, I think at 2.5 yards per carry for them as a team. So we can hang our hats, on the defense. But yeah, just such a Titans game to witness.
Talking about the defense, have to shout out the newcomer Arden Key. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet in the video, but
that forced the fumble or incomplete pass.
Arden Key was all over the field. You mentioned Landry. Good to see him back in action. He wasn't much of a difference maker out there, I'm afraid, but I mean, you brought in another one at least to cover Landry's back while he gets healthy coming off of the ACL. We hear it a lot that, the first year back after an ACL is not going to be as great, but it's going to be the next one after that where you feel more confident and you feel back to 100%. But I mean, not taking away from Arden Key's performance today, dominant, and that is absolutely you love to see that, because we've been advertised that this Titans defense is going to be great and this Titans defense is going to be awesome. But how excited can I get when the offense can't put up 17 points to win a game? Justin, you're going to have to score 17 points to win a football game in the National Football League. You're going to have to put it in the end zone at least once, you think, you'd hope.
Right.
And I guess speaking of that, Justin, we'll do a quick little preview of the Titans home opener next week against the Los Angeles Chargers, who just came off a brutal shootout loss to the Miami Dolphins. They lost 36-34, Justin.
Wow.
Just that score alone gives me very little hope.
It scares me to death.
Next game, because do you remember where you were the last time the Titans scored 34 points, Justin?
Well, it wasn't last year.
Nope.
What happened the year before? We were in the playoffs. We were a playoff team. That was our number one AFC seed. Was it week 17? We beat Houston, I think, last year.
You were with me. You were right next to me in Nissan Stadium in a rainstorm, windy, rainy, crappy weather condition day where the Titans hung it on the Miami Dolphins 34-3. That is the last time the Titans have eclipsed 30 points, Justin. That's the last time.
Come back.
That's 2021, week 17 of 2021, Justin. It's been how many football games is that? That's pushing 20 games without scoring 30 points. And, if you're going up against the Herbert-led Chargers, who I feel like average that on any given week, they just put up 34 in a loss. I mean, I don't know. So, what do you think?
I don't like it. I don't like this scenario of the Chargers coming to town. We did play them last year during our 7-game losing streak. It was a very low scoring game. Our defense did a good job. But man, like they look like they're look like they're going to be a dangerous team. And it's kind of hard to tell because Miami does also have a very good offense. So how good is the Chargers defense on the flip side? Hard to say because Miami's is another beast on the offensive side of the football. So maybe, if the Chargers aren't as what the Saints are on the defensive side of the ball, maybe it'll be a little easier going. Maybe we'll score a touchdown, Jake. Maybe we'll find ourselves in the end zone. Imagine that. But yeah, dude, if we're not going to get in the end zone, we might as well not even get on the field against this team. The offense has no choice but to put points on the board as often as they can. Because we know Herbert, Austin Eckler, once again, is, great start to the season. He's such a dangerous weapon for them. The Chargers are no slouch. Playoff team last year, should have won a playoff game against Jacksonville, but they choked that away. But yeah, it's going to be tough going. It'll be interesting to see, looking at the stats. It wasn't even Herbert through the air, but it was the ground game. Well, I did mention Eckler, but they're also their backup running back. Forgot his name. It's not in front of me. But anyway, he had almost 100 rushing yards himself. As a team, they had 234 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. So it appears to be a strength on strength a little bit there because we do like our rush defense, but it's going to be a challenge, man. They're going to be sick in their stomachs about this loss, and they're going to be, I'm sure the Titans are also sick to their stomachs about this loss. These are going to be 2 very hungry teams who really, really want to get into the win column this week. And so hopefully it helps us being at home, playing in front of the home crowd. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not super optimistic going into this football game, Jake, if I'm being completely honest. So we'll see what happens. But we know, Mike Vrabel-led teams, man, a lot of times we do step up to the challenge whenever things are looking bleak on paper going into a game. So hopefully it's just the week 1 curse. The week 1 curse with Mike Vrabel, got that out of the way. Another just soul-crushing week 1 loss. That's become a theme now. I think 3, maybe 4 years in a row now is what's happened. with that. So I don't know. Not optimistic, but maybe this defense can keep us in this game as well. So I don't know. What do you think?
Man, oh man, it's just you said it. If they're not going to score a touchdown next week, Justin, they might as well forfeit this game and move ahead to week 3 at the Cleveland Browns because I think it's going to take at least 24 points, Justin. And 24 points right now for this Titans offense feels impossible, perhaps. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is going to have to turn the corner in a hurry, going to have to flush this performance in a hurry. And hopefully they don't go away from Derrick Henry as quick. And you know, we haven't said it in the video, and I think it's indicative of what we saw yesterday in the Saints game. Is Treylon Burks was also pretty much invisible in that game. Tannehill was staring down Hopkins constantly, and I think that also led to the interceptions in which he threw, the several near interceptions in which he threw. Brutal, man, brutal. So
actually, there's a couple
other
other
reactions here, but I think we're looking at 0-2 right in the face, but I'm remaining hopeful.
Okay, man, I need some of that hope too. But it did seem like we were force feeding Hopkins. He had 13 targets, only 7 catches. That's not a great catch percentage, and a couple of those were picks. And then Chika Okonkwo didn't record a single reception. Should have had the long, trick play reception. But we got to get some of these other guys involved. Burks, he dropped a bad pass too, man. I mean, I like the end around, giving him the football there. He looks good when he has the ball in his hands, man. We need to spread out the love a little bit more. But I don't know. We just had this new toy in DeAndre Hopkins, and Ryan Tannehill was just all pro, future Hall of Famer. Let's just force feed this guy, and wasn't working out. But I did like what I saw from Hopkins, to be honest. He can still play. I mean, may have lost a step, but I am excited. This is a plus addition for sure for this offense. But
Absolutely.
we'll see if we can fix some of this stuff next week. God willing.
Absolutely. It's a long year, Justin. We got 16 games ahead of us. Can't get too low on week 1. No overreactions. None. That's right. Not going to get any from me. I don't know if you have anything to wrap up this video with other than just keep the faith, everybody. I mean, being an NFL fan is a roller coaster. Being a Titans fan is a slightly worse roller coaster. But what are you going to do?
Hey,
here we are.
I mean, look, we're not the only ones suffering. Look across the NFL. At least we're not Giants fans. Holy cow. Look, what's going on there? And the Bengals, a dud as well in week 1. So, a lot of week 1, just what's going on here? What are these teams doing? Who's gonna be the real deal at the end of the day? But I like it. No overreaction. Let's remain hopeful. Long season ahead, Jake.
Indeed. Tighten up, everybody. We will be back at you next Monday for another Monday show after the Chargers game. Hopefully the Titans have put up more than 15 points. Shout out our boy, Nick Folk.
Nick Folk, you're the man. You're the savior.
You're the man. MVP of this week. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up, everybody. Keep the faith. Like Justin said, long season ahead. We will catch you in the next one.